Namaskaram, everyone. So the first song that I decided to do a part of this series is called Thyagaraja Mahadvajaroha. It's in Ragam Shri, and it's a composition by Muthuswamy Dikshitar. This song is a Magnum Opus. It is a crash course of the Panguni festival that happens in Thiruvarur every spring. And I chose this song because it's very, very dear to my heart. It's one of the first songs that I decided to sing when I first went to the Kovil. I'll tell you a little bit about how I came to sing this particular song at that spot when I go through this kriti. But it's a journey that I hope you all will come with me on to discover what this kriti means to me and its place in the history of the Thyagaraja Swami Kovil. I didn't mention this, but I do want to mention my special thanks to my two really good friends, Janani and Kamalesh, who are actually online with me at this point, helping me out. And they're part of this project as well, and I want to shout out to them. So thank you all, and enjoy. Thyagaraja Mahadvajaroha Taraka Brahmarupa Shri Thyagaraja Mahadvajaroha. So Dwajaroha is the key word, I would say, in this line. And it refers to the dwaja stambham, which sits as you go into the inner Sannadhi that holds the Lingam Vanmikanadar and Tyagaraja Swami, who is what we call the Somaskanda Murti, or the deity who people can relate to because he has a face. The Lingam is just a Lingam. So Tyagaraja Swami is sort of the deity who comes out for the Utsava Murti. He's the one who they take on the Ther festival that happens, which I'll talk about later. But anyway, the Dwaja Stambham sits in pretty much the center as you enter, and it's sort of an indication that the God is here, the God is inside. The way I came to discover this Dwaja Stambham was I didn't know what a Dwaja Stambham was actually. And I wanted to sing this kriti really bad, but I wanted to sing it looking at the Dwaja Stambham, but I didn't know where the Dwaja Stambham was. So it was probably 12:30 in the afternoon. Kovil was about to be shut. And I'm going inside, really worried that the Kovil is going to be shut before I get to sing the song, and I would have to wait until the evening and crowds are going to come and all of that. So I go to this Mama, we call him Ganesh Mama, and he's a character in the Kovil. I love him, but he's an interesting personality. So I go to him and I say, Mama, Dwajastambam yenge irukku? Dwajastambam yenge? And he looks at me like I am crazy. Inda ponukku Dwajastambam yenge nu theriliya? And he just looks at me, goes, Anga irukuma, and he just points to the Dwaja Stambham, and he points me to that literal obvious structure. And so it's just funny that's how I came to discover probably one of the most important structures of the Kovil. And another thing about the Dwaja stambham is when you start the Panguni festival, which is I think a 40-day festival, the first thing that happens is the Kodietram. The Kodietram is the flag hoisting on the Dwaja stambham to indicate that the festival has started. And that is an extremely festive, wonderful, happy time where everybody gathers and puja happens, and they hoist the flag on the Dwaja stambham. So that is sort of the significance. As this Kriti starts, it's already giving you the indication that that is the central structure that the festival sort of revolves around. गणेश गुरु गुह भक्त भैरव सोममयं श्री त्यागम. Ganesha Guru Guha. So this tells you the different deities that come out in procession before the main Swami actually comes out. And in Thiruvarur, since the festival is 40 days, there is a lot of fanfare even for the other deities. So Ganesha, Muruga, all of them, they have their own processions. That is quite unlike other kovils where the Ther festival, the Panguni festival is quite abbreviated. Ganesha Guru Guha Bhakta Bhairava Somamayam Shri Thyagaraja Mahadvajaroha Taraka Brahma Rupa Mashaye Agama Siddhanta Pratipadyam Ananda Chandrasekhara Vedyam Agama Siddhanta Pratipadyam Ananda Chandrasekhara Vedyam. Chandrasekhar, I think, if I'm not mistaken, is the deity who's actually the proxy for Tyagaraja Swami. So Tyagesha, as we call him fondly, does not come out for all of the festivities, of course, only select. So Chandrasekhar is the messenger, if you will, or the person who comes out and surveys everything and everybody and then reports back to Tyagesha. Ananda Chandrasekhara Vedyam Naga Svaramadaladi Vadyam. So this line is probably one of my favorite lines in any composition because it details the different vadyam or the instruments that were played during the procession of the Swami. Nagaswaram, Shuddha Matalam. And so Shuddha Matalam, I have a very dear place in my heart because I got to meet Sumati auntie, who is the Shuddha Matalam player for the Kovil. And ava vandu paramparaya they've been vasichifying for Tyagaraja, meaning her dad, his dad. So it's a lineage, it's sort of a birthright. And she plays the Shuddha Matalam, which resembles the Mridangam, but it's not. And the Panchamukha Vadyam, which has Panchamukam na Anju face. And you can hear her at 6 p.m. every day, Sai Raksha, the evening Sai Raksha Puja. She stands with the Panchamukha Vadyam, and she knows exactly what to play during what part of the puja. She's not watching the god. She's not. There isn't any visual cues, but it's embedded in her blood. She knows exactly what she's doing at what time, and she's an amazing lady. And she's the principal of the school in Thiruvarur, and her daughter Sushma also plays the Shuddha Madalam, and she just got married last year. So it's these are people who are embedded in the culture and in the Kovil history. And I'll tell you a little bit about the actual dance of Tyagaraja when we get there. But Sumati auntie has a big part to play in that procession as well. Naga Swaramadi Vadyam Nama Rupatita Manadyam Yagashala Dyutsavachodyam Yamadyashtanga Yogamadyam Bhogaraga Bhedaroga Vaityam Bodhamrita Mahanivedyam. The Mahanevedyam is the ending. It's the big offering to Tyagaraja that they do. And the Mahanevedyam, it's not quite related to this, but it makes me think of the couple Tyagaraja Abishekams that I've been able to witness. And it is amazing. I think one happens during the Panguni festival and one just happened yesterday. It is an unbelievable experience to see Tyagaraja with no alankaram. So the way the deity is you can only see his face, nothing else. Everything is covered with jewels and flowers, so you can only see his face at all times. You can see his foot, and I'll come to that later, at 2 times of the year. But since we can only see his face during the Abishekam, he's still covered. You can only still see his face, but he is so simple. He's got this white cloth, him and Ambal, and it is the sound of, I think, 8 Vadyars saying the Rudram and the other Vedas while doing the Abhishekam, and you have all these amazing, coconut water. I think they do Thair, Nei. I mean, you have all the Naivedyam or the Abhishekam ingredients. They're all lined up. And the crowds that come to just sit in those narrow lines is just unbelievable. And so this Abhishekam really just makes me, think about how much people in Thiruvarur crave to see Swami. And they come day and night regardless of what's going on. And I've also noticed that people who are not from Thiruvarur, who don't live there, they have a special affection of Tyagesha poi paru, munnadi po, meaning they'll give up their spot for you to come sit in front and to see the God, because they just want to share in the amazingness that is Tyagesha. Bhoga raga bheda roga vaityam bodhamrita mahanivetyam Shri Thyagaraja Mahadvajaroha Taraka Brahma Rupa Shrishti Swarupa Vasanta Vaibhavam. Vasanta Vaibhavam is the name for the festival as the whole, or the season. Vasantotsavam is what they call it, and it symbolizes spring. Flowers are blooming. It's probably the season of Tyagesha, who is Bhoga Tyagesha. And so it just sets the scene of what time of the year this Panguni festival happens. Ashta Dvajendra Vimana Bhuta Shrishti Swarupa Vasanta Vaibhavam Ashta Dvajendra. So Ashta Dvajendra, I believe it's 8 horses. And Dvajam again, but it talks about what is pulling the Ter. And the other day, I was talking to Kartiyana. So Kartiyana is, I would say, he's the guarderer. He's the guardian angel almost of the Koval. And he takes care of everything. He goes in the Sanadi, make sure he surveys everything to make sure everything is running smoothly. Nothing happens without Kartiyana's sort of sign off, I would say. And I speak to him and his wife Umaka every day. And during the Ter festival, I was really, really sad that I couldn't be there. And Oranal Umaka she FaceTimes me and she said, "Va, Tera kamikren." And Kartiyana he takes the phone, he walks inside of the Ter and shows me exactly where Tyagesha is going to be sitting. I mean, that privilege, I don't think anybody gets, let alone somebody who's sitting in New York over FaceTime. And that was just one of the most meaningful experiences of my life, because it told me that Tyagesha is with you, even if you're not physically there, he's there. And the other thing that he did is took me into the Ayrankal Mandapam, which is a 1,000-pillared hall, also called the Devasiriya Mandapam. And Devasiriya Mandapam has its own extensive history, which I'll go into perhaps in another song. But during that time, all these big structures of the dwajams, the elephants, the horses, they're painted beautifully. They're humongous. I mean, if you have to roll the biggest chariot in Asia, I mean, imagine how big these things must be. And so the Ashtadvajam is talking about all the different animals that pull Swami when he actually comes out into the procession. Ashtadvajendra Vimana Bhuta Samashti Gaja Vrishabam. Gajam, Vrishabam. So the elephants, they're talking about all the different animals here again. Kailasava Sresha Maharatha Stithim. And the Maharatha, they're pulling. The Maharatham is the Ter. Visishta Haram Krishna Gandha Dharanam Shishta Sevita Japa Nartanam Visishta Haram Krishna Gandhadharanam Sishta Sevita Japanartanam. Ajapanatanam is, I could talk for an hour on this, but I'll try to keep it brief. Basically, Ajapanatanam is Thyagesha's dance, and Ajapa is breathing. And it is said that the dance of Ajapa that Thyagesha does actually is the inhale and exhale of Mahavishnu. Thyagesha used to be on Mahavishnu's, it's said that Mahavishnu used to keep Thyagesha on his chest and pray. And there's a whole story of how he came to Thiruvarur. But Ajapa Natanam is the up and down movement. If you see during any procession, the Ajapa Natanam is said to replicate the inhalation and exhalation of your breath. And the Ajapa Natanam procession bodhit, something very interesting happens. If you look at some of these videos, it is pretty vigorous of a kulakal, of a shake that happens. But Thyagesha does not ever come unhinged or fall off of the palake. He is not tied onto those two palaks, by the way. There is no string that is tied. To this day, nobody knows what happens. But the very cool thing which I got to witness during Thiruvadurai, which happens in December, is the Arudra Mode. There is another Ajapa procession. The Swami comes out in procession several times a year, or maybe 2 times a year. But during Thiruvadurai, what I got to notice was I was standing with Sumati auntie, who is playing the Shuddha Madalam in the side door, and where some people go in for the Sai Raksha Puja. That door is closed. This is a very, very cool thing that happens. Swami, there is a particular family that is tasked to tie or somehow secure the Swami onto the Pallak. That secret, that rahasyam, has been passed down for centuries. Nobody knows what that pattern of tying is, securing is. But Sumati auntie at that same time will be playing a very specific rhythm or some sort of a pattern that complements the tying of the Swami. But that family doesn't know what Sumati auntie is playing. Sumati auntie doesn't know what they are doing inside. But somehow it is perfectly correlated. And somehow everybody knows when Swami is going to come out. So I'm just standing there, I remember, and I am in awe because everything is happening so beautifully coordinated. And when the doors open, oh my God, when the doors open and Swami comes out and does the Ajapa Nadanam, and all the devotees behind are screaming Arura Tyagesa and just throwing flowers on the Swami, it is an experience that is once in a lifetime. I'm getting emotional just even talking about it. So So that is Ajapa Natanam for you. That is one of the 7. So also Tyagesha is part of the Sapta Lingam, Sapta Vidanga Kshetram. So basically, there's different deities that have different dances. And so this is Ajapa Natanam, and I'll take you through other songs as we go through the different deities in the future. Seshta Sevita Japanartanam Ashta Pashaharam Tirtha Prabhavanugrahatmaka Padadarshanam. So Padadarshanam is the other big thing that happens in Thiruvarur. And like I said, since you can only see Swami's face, seeing his feet, seeing any divine deity's feet is holy. But Tyagesha's, especially since you can't see any other body part, you're craving to see something else, and that is his padam. And I believe there are 2 times in the year that you can see his feet. I don't know when you can see his left and right. I get that mixed up all the time. But one is during Thiruvarur, and one is during this Panguni festival. And Thiruvarur annikku, the lines are crazy, obviously. There are, it is said that I think Manika Vasagar got his divine, he was able to see Tyagesha. He was obviously able to see Shiva. He was given that darshanam, and only after he sort of goes inside the Sanadi do we get to also witness it, and that is his feet. Murugan is also actually embedded within the deity. He's also there. We don't get to see him. He is covered all year round except for a few times of the year, and this is also the time that we can see as a small Murugan, and Shiva, Parvati and Muruga represent Soma Skandamurti, which is sort of the husband-wife, sort of a family, a divine family, as you would have it. So the Pada Darshanam, when I was there in December, last December and this past December, a couple friends and I decided that we would just end up paying like 200 rupees and bypass the line. And we had been up all night seeing the Nataraja Abishekam the night before, and so we were exhausted. I don't think we went to bed till 3 a.m., 4 a.m. So when we woke up the next day, we just decided to bypass the line. But it's amazing just to see again the throngs of devotees who come to just see a split second of Tyagesha and his padam. Visishta haram Krishna gandadharatnam Sishta sevita japanartanam Ashta pashaharam tirtha prabhavanugrahatmaka padadarshanam Ishtapala Prada Kalyana Sundaresha Namamacharya Prabhavamashta Siddhidaya Kambi Kotsavamarudha चण्डेश्वरं शिवं इष्टफल प्रद कल्याण सुन्दरेश नाममाचार्य प्रभव Kalyana Sundarar. If I'm remembering correctly, in December, Kalyana Sundarar is a form of Shiva, form of Tyagesha, who sits in the Unjal Mandapam. And in December, I believe, Karthi Anna knew that my friend Harish, who lives in Thiruvarur, is also a singer, wonderful singer, and it works at the university. He composes beautiful songs. And Karthi Anna, and we often sing together in the Kovil for Tyagesha. And Karthi Anna came to us and said, "Ninga paadrela Kalyana Sundararku." I'm pretty sure it was Kalyana Sundarar, but we sat in the Unjal Mandapam every day at 7 o'clock after Sai Raksha. There's a little bit of time between Sai Raksha and Arthajamam Puja, which is at 8:45. So we sang for an hour every day. A lot of Harish's composition, other compositions, and just staring at Kalyana Sundarar. And it was this unobstructed time just to sing your heart out. And so this phrase reminds me of that wonderful sort of few days in between, events where things are quiet, but you always want music to be reverberating in the temple, and that's a wonderful thing to be asked to be a part of. Ishtapala prada kalyana sundaresha namamacharya prabhavamashta siddhi dayaka bikotsavama rudha चण्डेश्वरं शिवं श्री त्यागराज महद्वजारोह तारक ब्रह्मरूप गणेश गुरु गुह भक्त भैरव सोममयं शीत्यागराज महद्वजारोह तारक ब्रह्मरूप So that was Thyagaraja Mahadvajaroha, the Magnum Opus in Sri Ragam. We started in the dwaja stambham, and I hope you got a sense of what the grandeur of the Panguni festival looks like. I haven't yet been able to be there for that time, but I'm hoping one day I will. I'll just say this one last thing and end this video, and that's when I was in December during Thiruvarur. It was such a festive time. I mean, so many preparations, so many people. It was just so busy. But everybody would be saying, "Ippada aarambikkiradhu. Idhaan first ni onnume paakala. Thiruvarur is just the beginning. It's just the beginning." And I didn't understand. I said, "What do you mean beginning? This feels like the end." I mean, what could be bigger than this? Little did I know that the next 4 months after Thiruvarur would be the most festive, the most grand, and the most beautiful time in Thiruvarur, where for 40-50 days, all people are doing is singing about Tyagesha, thinking about Tyagesha, and in any way serving him in any way possible. So hope you enjoy. I will upload this all onto YouTube, and you'll be getting clips as well. So for those of you who don't want to listen to the whole thing, it'll be accessible in that way as well. Namaskaram.